All right, here I am back at the road, the Winding Stair Gap, and just got dropped off by the hostel. And this is the place where I get dropped off, and then I remember the hostel and how nice the bed was and how warm and dry it was inside, and how nice it was to have a flush toilet and a shower. And then I come out here and I look behind me and I say, oh, going back up those stairs and back into the woods. And I also look at the sky, and it's looking a little forbidding today. So hopefully I don't get rained on, but I probably will. So anyway, I should be done a week from tomorrow, or maybe the next day. So I'm not going to cry about it. I'm going to get walking. So Semper Fi, and for now, Recon out. You can see that line of thunderstorms right there, right along that line. Look at that. And it looks like it's already raining back there. And it's just starting to spit a little bit where I am. I haven't got my rain gear out yet, but I'm going to shortly. It picks up in intensity at all. It's blowing and it really wants to rain. So I'm not going to escape it today, I don't think. So it started raining more or less for real. Put my rain gear back on. And there's a shelter about half a mile. So I popped in here to get out of the rain and have lunch. So I'm gonna eat something and come up with my next plan. I didn't think this was supposed to last, but it doesn't look like it's gonna slow down at all. We'll see what's next. Well, it finally stopped raining. Rained most of the morning. It started raining pretty heavily. And I saw that it was about 12:30, probably time for lunch anyway. And there was a shelter about 0.7 up the trail. And so I was able to get on up in there and get dried out and have my lunch and all. Now it stopped raining. It's kind of partly sunny, broken and cloudy, and chance of storms, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, I'm ascending steadily. I'm going up over Albert Mountain, which is a fairly steep mountain with a fire tower on top, I believe. I'm sure it has one. So anyway, we'll get up there and check it out, and I'll let you know what I see. Okay, there we are. That is the famous Albert Mountain fire tower. And if any of you read the book, A Walk in the Woods, early on in the book, Katz and Bryson come up to Albert Mountain from the other side. And there's a horrible storm, the wind is walloping the mountain, and they can't get around, or can't get over it. And they end up taking a fire road around. There's actually a bad weather bypass that I passed up back there that you can take around the peak of this thing, but I didn't need it because right now the weather's not bad, although it's highly changeable. And it was raining earlier, so I'm gonna climb up to the tower, get y'all some video from up there, and then I'm gonna get down. Unfortunately, the actual tower thing is closed off. I can't get up there. It's bolted shut, so they don't want us up there apparently. But I'm all the way at the very highest level of the steps, standing on this landing, and I don't much care for heights. Ironically, I used to be a paratrooper, but I don't like being up here. But it's a great view, and I thought I need to come get it for y'all. And you can see the clouds. Yeah, who knows what they're going to do today. Chance of thunderstorms, etc., etc. That's what they say every day. So there we are. View through the girders there now. All right, I'm going to head on down because I don't care for being up here. And I don't know what the weather's going to do. So anyway, hope you all enjoyed the view from the famous Albert Mountain fire tower. And if you think about it, read A Walk in the Woods and you'll read all about Albert Mountain. And Bryson and Katz almost, well, thinking they almost died up here. Probably being a little dramatic, honestly. Well, guess who missed the 2100 mile sign? That was me. There's actually a sign back there someplace that said 100 miles from Springer. And I would like to have gotten a photo of that, but I went right by it. Didn't see it, and then somehow I passed 2,100 miles. So I'm at 2,100 miles, 0.8. So anyway, I'm not going to stop at this point and make a stick figure because I missed the deadline. About 3 miles to go to the next shelter. All right, it's 5:15. Fortunately, so far the rain has held off, has not restarted. I'm very pleased about that. I'm less than a mile from the shelter, the Carter Gap shelter, and I'm hoping there's room. You know, being stuck with the northbound bubble is like every shelter's been full, and I thought it'd be trailing off by now. I mean, it's, you know, it's May, so I thought that it'd be trailing off, but not yet. So I'm hoping I can get room in the shelter. If not, I'll have to pitch my tent, and I think it's going to rain tonight. And I just don't like packing up a wet tent in the morning. It means tomorrow night I'll have a wet tent unless I can dry it out tomorrow sometime. So anyway, fingers crossed I'll be down there in less than 10 minutes. Good morning. Welcome to 208, day 208. So if you'll remember, yesterday I passed the 100-mile marker, so I am somewhere around 95 miles left to go. And if you started out with me 7 or 8 months ago, I appreciate it. It's only gonna be a few more days. Last night stayed at the Carter Gap shelter. I actually stayed in the shelter. Typically I camp at the shelter, but I stayed in last night because I thought it was gonna rain. And it poured. It rained so hard. I thought that the roof was gonna leak, but it didn't. And so I was able to stay dry last night and not have to pack out a wet tent. So I've got 24 miles to get to Hiawassee, where I'll stay at the Stanimals hostel. I can't do 24 miles in one day, so I'll divide it up and probably do 2 easy days. There's a Muskrat Ridge shelter or something in 12 miles. So basically 2 relatively easy days for me. But that's the plan, about 12 miles, and I'll get up with you later. So at some point today, I think in about 8 miles, I'll be going over Standing Indian Mountain. And so when I was 15 years old, myself and 3 other 15-year-olds did a backpacking trip out there over our Easter break. And we'd ridden up with some adults that were going to the local Girl Scout camp, and they just turned us loose. And for like 5 days, we did a trip on the Appalachian Trail, and one night we actually put our tents on Standing Indian on the very top of it. And there was a tremendous storm that came up, and it was pretty crazy, but we did fine, and we had a great time. So it'll be fun to revisit that area. The thing I've noticed is that the character of the trail has changed somewhat. So on the other side of Winding Stair Gap, north towards the Nantahala, the trail was much rougher, was going straight up and straight down. And since Winding Stair Gap has become much more pleasant, there's a lot more switchbacks. It's contouring the sides of the mountain a lot more rather than going straight over the top. It's much more pleasant hiking. I don't know why. I don't know if it's a different maintaining club or different trail builder, but it's really nice, and I'm making good time through here. So I'm enjoying it. Waiting for it to rain. If you look at the sky, it's just black up there. It's gonna rain. It wants to rain really bad, and I think it's gonna rain tomorrow too. So this is my life. I've still got about 4 miles to the summit of Standing Indian Mountain. And as I recall, that summit's pretty exposed. So I was hoping to get over before any thunderstorms. I can hear thunder, but I can't tell if it's moving off or not. And the sky seems to be lightening up a little bit. And there's actually a patch of blue sky over there. So I hate to get too optimistic, because then I always get my hopes up and then I get soaked. So we'll see. But I would like to get over the summit of the mountain without any major electrical storms. That'd be awesome. Still, we'll continue on. Here I am on Standing Indian Mountain, and I've been hearing thunder all morning, but nothing has come near me, so pretty excited about that. I've been looking around, and this is where I camped when I was 15 years old, and I don't see anything that looks familiar. But that was 1976, and I guess a lot can change in 49 years. But I'm glad to be over the mountain, and I'm gonna head down to the backside and get to the next shelter for lunch. and then we'll go from there. So I got into this shelter maybe 12:30. Yeah, maybe 10, quarter to 1. And it was starting to storm. And so it's a great place to have lunch, get out of the rain. And now it seems to have passed. There's a lot of thunder and whatnot. It's moved off. People coming northbound told me that down at Deep Gap, which is probably another, maybe a mile, there's people set up down there doing trail magic and making hot dogs. And they have beer and snacks. So I went ahead and had my lunch here because I didn't know what the weather was going to do. But now that it seems to have stopped raining for the moment, I'm going to head on down and see what they got at the old trail magic place. And then it's only about 4.5 miles, not even 5 miles to the next shelter. So pretty relaxed day for me today. No, not good. Well, it is about bedtime, and that is the shelter there behind me. Again, chosen the shelter tonight because it is supposed to storm tonight. And apparently, according to the radar and all reports, there's a big storm coming, probably about 10 o'clock tonight. So I will be happy to be inside that thing rather than having to pack up my wet tent in the morning. I can actually hear the thunder in the distance, so I think it's coming. Sleeping in there with 4 other guys. They're all northbound thru hikers and very, very friendly bunch, and we've had a good evening together chatting and whatnot. So I'm going to go ahead and go to bed, and I will catch up with you all in the morning. The plan for tomorrow is 12 miles down to Dix Creek Gap. That's in Georgia. I'll be in a new state tomorrow, and I'll get picked up and taken to the Around the Bend hostel. So I'll resupply there and then press on. I've only got about 80 miles left. So Semper Fi and good night. Good morning. Welcome to day 209. I am leaving the Muskrat Ridge shelter. Had a nice night there last night. There were some northbound thru hikers, nice folks. Enjoyed hanging out with them. It stormed like crazy last night. Fortunately, stayed out of the rain. It's 8:30 now, and radar shows apparently a gigantic storm coming this way. It's gonna be here about 11 a.m. So I'm gonna get moving. I got to get 12 miles to the Dix Creek Gap, where I'll get picked up and taken to Around to the Bend hostel for the night. So I'm gonna turn the phone off and get moving and try to get ahead of this rain. So there's a break in the trees and a view. I think it's off to the west. And according to the guide, it says that the town of Hiawassee is down there someplace. I don't really see it, but there's a lot of cloud cover, so it could be under the clouds. The clouds are actually below me at this point. 9:15 in the morning, rain's holding off so far. Well, here it is near Bly Gap, the North Carolina-Georgia state line. So for people heading northbound, this is where they enter their second state and leave Georgia. And obviously for me, it's the opposite. So I am entering my 14th and final state. So those of you who have been with me from the start, you remember me in Maine, and then Vermont, and Massachusetts, etc. This is it. I'm entering Georgia. I've got about 78 miles left of this thru hike. So it's very unceremonious. It's just a wooden sign bolted to a tree. And that seems appropriate to me. So Semper Fi and Recon out. Looks like I've entered the wildfire area. So they had a fire here several weeks ago anyway. And this section of the trail was briefly closed for this wildfire. And you can see it's all black and burned up through here. What's crazy is the other side of the trail is not touched. So it's all totally normal over here. So I don't know if they use the Appalachian Trail as a fire break, and it may be the case, because this is all you can see. It's all burned up through here. It's all black and charred, and then on the other side, it's all normal. So it's pretty wild, but I'm glad the fire's out and I can hike through here. I guess I spoke too soon because it does look like the fire hopped the trail over here and burned down the other side. I'm not sure how long this goes on for. Well, here I am going into Dix Creek Gap. This is the parking area where the hostel is going to send a vehicle to pick me up. And I knocked that 12 miles out pretty quickly. I was trying to beat the rain because there's a big storm supposed to be coming in. And I got sprinkled on a little bit, but I missed all the rain, which I'm pretty happy about. And I'll go spend the night at the hostel tonight. I got to figure out what my plan is. I've got about 70 miles to Springer Mountain to finish this thing. So I don't know how many days I want to take to do that. My son's got to come down here. I would like him to do the last mile with me and get some video. So we're gonna arrange all that stuff. But I'm down here now, and I'll go get cleaned up. I understand that they have a brewery in Hiawassee, Georgia. I'm gonna head for that, and also resupply and figure out my next move. So I will get up with y'all later. So here I am taking my 0 day at Around the Bend hostel, and I thought I would do some shoe repair. My poor shoes are coming apart here, and they only need to hold up for another 70 miles. So I'm going to put a little duct tape in here and see if I can't get them to hold together, because they've only got 70 more miles to get to Springer. I can't complain. They've got 500 miles on them, so they're holding up pretty good, all things considered. So here I am at Stanimals Around the Bend Hostel in Hiawassee, and had a great night here last night. Decided to take a 0 day today. There's only myself and one other hiker here right now. I wanted to get a rest today, but really I kind of needed to regroup and figure out what my timing was to get into Springer Mountain and how do I meet up with my sister and my son. So it's Sunday. I think the plan is to get to the shelter. I think it's called Sarver Gap, I think, 4 miles north of the summit of Springer and the end of the Appalachian Trail. I'll get there on Friday, which takes me about 5 days to get there. It's pretty easy. And then it'll be a 3-mile walk Saturday morning to the parking area, the Forest Service parking area, where I can meet my son and my sister. And then at least my son can walk the last mile to the summit and finish my thru hike with me. So that's the plan. I'll get back on trail tomorrow morning, and I'm just kind of relaxing and just eating and hanging out. So I'll get up with you a little bit later.